It's quite the find. Hello friends, and welcome back to Crow's Thrifty Finds. My name is Melanie. So for this week's video, we're going to talk about plush. I know I did a video on plush a few weeks back and people seemed to enjoy it, so I figured why not do some more. For this video, we're going to talk exclusively about Disney plush because there are hundreds upon hundreds of Disney plush, and not all of them are valuable, but many of them are. So I'm going to highlight which ones to be on the lookout for. What's great about plush is that most of the time it seems that the thrift stores have not been hip to, how valuable these plush can be. So I know my Goodwill sells plush for around $5. So, it's very possible for you to get these plush for very low costs. So let's talk about ones that you want to look out for. Number one, perhaps you all remember the Disney movie, The Little Mermaid. I believe they made another one as well, but the eels, flotsam and jetsam, there's quite a few different plus variations of these, and they are worth some pretty good money. There's actually a jetsam, which is the left eel, that is pretty rare. I believe this is a vintage plush, and he sells for hundreds. So if you see this guy out there, out in the wild, you definitely want to pick him up because you are going to make some good money on him. Number two, I've talked in other videos, about the Disney Afternoon, and I haven't talked about this plush in particular, but if there was a grail of Disney Afternoon plush, this is it. So this is Kit Cloudkicker. He is from the TV show Tailspin, which again was one of my favorites. I've mentioned him more than once, and he is worth hundreds. They had this plush available at the parks, although I believe it was only Disneyland because they had a Disney Afternoon section of the park back in the 90s, and I wanted to go to Disneyland so badly just for this one part because I was just such a big Disney Afternoon fan, and they did not have it in Walt Disney World. So I want to say this plush was only available at Disneyland, and it, Kit Cloudkicker was sort of the sidekick in a way on the show, so he wasn't the big main character. So my guess is that, not a lot of people maybe purchased this plush. So he is super rare. He's super valuable. Remember his face. Number three, we have this dog called Angel from Lady and the Tramp. This was not the first Lady and the Tramp movie. This came from one of the sequel movies. And Angel, she is worth some good money. As you can see, she can sell for $200. So you definitely want to look out for Angel if you see her out there. Next plush is Pepe the Prawn. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. I think it's Pepe. Pepe comes from the Muppets. Who doesn't love the Muppets? So Pepe the Prawn sells for in around the 160 range. So if you see Pepe, you definitely want to pick him up as well. Next character is a character that came out of Japan. This bear is called Duffy, and there are many color variations on Duffy, but the one that I seem to find has the most value is there is a purple Duffy bear, and he sells in the high 100s, low 100s if you can find this purple Duffy. I'm not sure how heavily released this was. This could be really rare and super hard to find, but I'm putting it out there because you just never know. Rare items are out there. You just got to know what they are and you got to find them. So be on the lookout for purple Duffy. Next, we're going to go on to another purple character. And this was one of my favorites as a child. As a child, I love dragons. And this dragon is specifically from Epcot, the theme park at Walt Disney World. And you know, in general, this guy here, this is Figment. Figment is a popular plush that was made in the parks, and you can probably find a lot of different variations of him, and there are some that sell for a good profit. But the highest of the high, from my research, is a sleeping Figment. So sleeping Figment can sell up into the 100s. There's a few different variations, and some are more valuable than others. So you just want to be sure which one you have. But I think most of the sleeping Figments are worth picking up. So if you see a sleeping purple dragon with orange horns, yeah, definitely worth looking up. Next, we're going to talk about another movie from the 90s. It's kind of a weird movie from my perspective, but Roger Rabbit. Who Framed Roger Rabbit was the name of the movie. It was one of those hybrid movies where there was animation and there was real people. It kind of blew my mind at the time that you could even combine those two things into one movie, but there it was. And it was kind of a movie geared to adults more so than kids, but kids still watched it. I don't know. It was just weird to me. But Roger Rabbit, they made some plush. I know I had one. It was a smaller plush. But I find that any Roger Rabbits are usually worth picking up. There are ones that are more valuable than others, just depending on the size and style and make. But if you see this guy in any form, he's worth looking up. And if you find other merch besides the plush, that's also worth looking up, because Roger Rabbit stuff can be good money on eBay. So keep your eyes out for Roger Rabbit. Next is a later 90s, I believe, Disney show that was on TV. I was too old for this show, but I, for whatever reason, actually have one of these plush in my possession. But Bear in the Big Blue House. This was a kids show, and it was kind of like puppets and you know, people in costumes and things like that. So a lot of people liked it. There's a nostalgia factor now because these folks are millennials that want to get a piece of their childhood. So I find that Bear in the Big Blue House plush, there's a lot of different characters. They're worth picking up. There's different sizes, different values, just depending on the character. You know, you might have those more obscure characters that are worth more, but anything Bear in the Big Blue House is worth looking up. Number 9, we have Hercules. Well, not quite Hercules himself, but Hercules' horse, whose name is Pegasus. Cute guy, cute little guy. So this guy, he's a popular character. People really like Pegasus. I think a lot of people really like horses, so you get any variation of horse, and people like that. But yes, Hercules was an animated movie in the late 90s, and Pegasus was Hercules' horse. And very cute. So the larger, more grown-up Hercules plush is worth around $100. But there's other variations as well of the younger Pegasus that sells. So if you see a Pegasus plush, white and blue, like this, definitely worth a Google Lens search, because very good chance it could be valuable. Next we have Stitch from Lilo and Stitch. Lots of Stitch plush, but I'm going to focus specifically on the Stitch Crashes line. Now, this is something Disney's made a lot of different plush for, where Stitch crashes a variety of Disney movies. So these Stitch plushes have themes on their bodies from different Disney movies. And there are some Disney movies that are worth more than others. So you want to do your homework and make sure that the Stitch Crashes plush is a more valuable variety. I would say they're all worth looking up, because I think, you know, if you get it cheap enough, they're all, you know, probably worth something. You know, you're going to get some kind of return on it. But yeah, you want to look for the Stitch from Lilo and Stitch in a variety of different fur patterns, I guess you could say. So that was number 10, but I do have one more thing I want to discuss just in general, just something to look out for. And this is going to be something that takes up some space, so I'm putting that caveat out there. But if you find any jumbo Disney plushes, especially vintage jumbo Disney plushes, very large ones, the bigger the better. Like it's not even just one particular character, but there's a big Simba from The Lion King that sells for really good money. A lot of Lion King plush is not super valuable, but the jumbo ones definitely is. So you want to look for Disney characters in general that are super huge. So you're going to want to charge a lot of money for shipping. But yeah, any jumbo Disney plush is worth looking up because many of them sell in the hundreds. Yes, it's a little pain in the butt to have in your house until it sells, but if you've got a big enough space, maybe that's no big deal. Or maybe you got kids that'll play with it until it finds a home. That's what my two would probably do. So yeah, so that is the list. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you watching weekly. And yeah, if you want to put down in the comments section Disney plush that you personally have found that's valuable, that's helpful. We can all help each other. And in the meantime, until next week, this is Melanie with Crow's Thrifty Finds. I'll see you next week.